Love is a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's the force that brings two souls together, creating a bond that feels unbreakable. It can bloom anywhere, sometimes in the most unexpected places. A chance meeting at a coffee shop, a shared glance on a crowded train, or even a connection made online. We fall for someone's mind, their humor, their soul. It's these intangible qualities that draw us in, making us feel seen and understood. We connect on a level that transcends physical boundaries. Through late-night conversations and shared dreams, we build a relationship that feels just as real as any face-to-face interaction. And sometimes that love story involves a long-distance relationship. These relationships test our patience and commitment, but they also show us the depth of our feelings. We navigate time zones, missed calls, and the ever-present longing to be physically close. The distance can be tough, but it also makes the moments we do share even more precious. But amidst the romantic challenges, there's a practical one that often arises: finances. The cost of maintaining a long-distance relationship can add up quickly. Long-distance relationships often mean more spending: flights, gas for long drives, expensive phone plans. These costs can become a significant part of our budget. It's easy to overlook this financial aspect when you're caught up in the excitement of a new love. The thrill of seeing each other again can overshadow the reality of the expenses involved, but as time goes on, the strain on your wallet can become as real as the distance itself. It's important to acknowledge and address these financial challenges together, finding ways to make your love sustainable in the long run. Let's talk about Sarah, a 21-year-old student, head over heels for David, her 28-year-old boyfriend. They met during her semester abroad and have been navigating a long-distance relationship ever since. The initial excitement of their international romance overshadowed any practical concerns, especially finances.
They agreed to split the costs of their visits, a seemingly fair arrangement at first. However, as the realities of long distance set in, I found myself struggling financially.
David, further along in his career, had more financial freedom while Sarah juggled part-time work and her studies. Every visit was a financial stretch for Sarah. The cost of flights, even booked months in advance, ate into her savings.
I found myself cutting back on social outings with friends, sacrificing my daily latte, all to bridge the distance between me and David.
The initial joy of their reunions started to feel overshadowed by the looming financial stress. What was supposed to be a romantic adventure began to feel like an uphill financial battle. Sarah started questioning the sustainability of their arrangement.
Was it fair for me to constantly bear the brunt of our long-distance situation?
Sarah confided in her friends, her voice heavy with a mix of love for David and frustration over the financial imbalance. Her friends, a supportive and insightful bunch, offered a range of perspectives and advice. Some advocated for open communication, urging Sarah to address the issue directly with David. Others suggested practical solutions like alternating who travels or exploring cheaper travel options. The conversation quickly evolved, highlighting not just the financial aspect, but also the need for mutual understanding and compromise in their relationship. Section 5. Reframing the narrative. It's about us. In any relationship, the way we frame our conversations can significantly impact the outcome. It's not just about the words we use, but the perspective we bring to the table. One friend offered a particularly insightful perspective during a casual gathering. Amidst the laughter and lighthearted banter, a deeper conversation emerged. She suggested that Sarah reframe the conversation with David. Instead of approaching it with a mindset of division, she proposed a more unified approach. Instead of presenting it as your finances versus my finances, she encouraged Sarah to approach it as our challenge. This subtle yet powerful shift can transform the dynamic of the conversation. This shift in perspective, she explained, emphasizes the shared responsibility inherent in any relationship, especially a long-distance one. It's about recognizing that both partners are in this together, facing the same hurdles and working towards common goals. By presenting it as a shared concern, Sarah could open up a dialogue about their individual financial realities and work collaboratively towards a solution that works for both of them. This approach fosters a sense of partnership and mutual support. This approach shifts the focus from blame or resentment to a more constructive and empathetic conversation. It encourages both partners to listen actively, understand each other's perspectives, and find common ground. Ultimately, it's about building a stronger, more resilient relationship. Section 6. Stepping up, recognizing responsibility and adjusting accordingly. Another friend pointed out that while splitting costs might seem initially fair, it doesn't always account for individual financial situations. David, earning a comfortable salary, was less affected by the travel expenses than Sarah, who was on a tight student budget. This disparity, they highlighted, was something David needed to acknowledge and be willing to address. It wasn't about placing blame, but rather about recognizing the imbalance and adjusting accordingly. Love, they reminded her, requires understanding and a willingness to share the weight, both emotionally and practically. Perhaps David could contribute more financially, easing the burden on Sarah.
Know you've been a good friend.
Section 7. Practical solutions, sharing the load. The conversation then shifted towards brainstorming practical solutions. One friend suggested they alternate who travels, giving Sarah a break from the constant financial strain of booking flights. Another proposed exploring cheaper travel options like buses or trains, even if it meant longer journeys. They also explored the possibility of David contributing more towards Sarah's travel expenses, acknowledging the difference in their financial situations. The idea wasn't about one person carrying the entire burden, but rather finding a balance that felt fair and sustainable for both of them. Section 8. The power of communication and compromise. In any relationship, the ability to communicate effectively and find common ground is essential. It's not just about talking, but truly understanding each other's perspectives and needs. As Sarah listened to her friend's advice, a sense of clarity washed over her. She realized that their insights were invaluable, and she needed to approach her situation with David with a fresh perspective. She realized that the solution wasn't just about finding the right way to split costs, but about having an honest and open conversation with David. It was about understanding each other's financial situations and working together to find a balance that worked for both of them. They needed to communicate their individual financial realities, their concerns, and their expectations. It was important for both of them to feel heard and understood, and their hopes for the future of their relationship. Love requires compromise, and it also requires a shared vision for the future. They needed to align their goals and dreams to build a strong foundation, and finding a sustainable way to manage their finances was crucial for their long-distance relationship to thrive. They had to be practical and realistic, yet hopeful and optimistic about their future together. It was time for Sarah to speak her truth, to express her feelings and concerns openly. She needed to be honest about her fears and hopes, and for David to listen with an open heart and a willingness to meet her halfway. It was a moment of vulnerability and strength, where both had to be willing to give and take, to understand and be understood. Section 9. Your turn sharing your story. Sarah's story is just one example of the financial complexities that can arise in long-distance relationships. It highlights the importance of open communication, mutual understanding, and a willingness to find solutions that work for both partners. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you navigated financial challenges in your own long-distance relationship? What advice would you give to couples facing similar situations? Share your thoughts, experiences, and advice in the comments below. Section 10. Love and finances, a delicate dance. Navigating finances in any relationship can be tricky, and long distance adds another layer of complexity. It requires honesty, empathy, and a commitment to finding solutions that honor both partners' needs and desires. Remember, love isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the everyday compromises, the shared sacrifices, and the willingness to support each other, financially and emotionally, through the journey.